What's up, Concede crowd? I'm Rob from Velen's Chosen podcast.
And I'm Eve.
And I'm Grant.
And you're about to hit your first turn for Concede.
Greetings.
Hello.
Greet my greeting. Well met.
I greet you.
Greetings, traveler.
Greetings, friend.
The pleasure is mine.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. My name is Kenny, and I go by KCCO Gamer. And all the way from Thunder Bluff, Louisiana, we have Cinder.
That's me.
And joining us from Gadget Zan, New York, we have Ridiculous Hat.
That's me.
And we also have a special guest this week from Kyoto Esports. It's SeoHyun.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, so I'm going to start us off by getting to know you here. So please tell us and those listening a little bit about yourself. Maybe give us a little bit about your Hearthstone career, your resume. Give us an intro to yourself.
All right. First, I started playing Hearthstone back in closed beta, but back then I was only a arena player, and then I played for like around half a year. And then I decided that to quit Hearthstone for like a year plus because I find that there was only invitational tournaments back then. So there was like ladder does not matter. There was no finishing. There was no points. So I decided to quit, and then I came back in this January because I was randomly watching streams on Twitch. And then I found that there was J-Dread, and then it was really fun, so I decided to come back. And then I joined Kyoto, which is the team where I'm representing right now, in around February. And then I had a goal to make 2 prelims. And I think most people will know me, if they do, would be my performance in DreamHack, which I just got 2nd place in Montreal. And yeah, that's basically how I started Hearthstone and how I started playing competitively.
Awesome. I'm glad you mentioned Kyoto Esports. You want to tell us how you got involved with them, or maybe even tell us a little bit more about them?
Oh yeah, for sure. Kyoto Esports is they mainly focus in Hearthstone, which we currently have 6 active players, and 4 of them made into this summer playoffs, which is me, Caravaggio, Musi, and Guys is, I think, I remember one caster voted him for a player to watch this tournament, and he did pretty good. He started 0-2 and he finished 5-2, which got him, I think, was 13th place. Also, we have a Smash team, which I believe they're really good in their community. I personally don't play the game, so I don't really know, but I heard that they were like one of the best in the game, which is really exciting to join such a good team. It's such a good organization.
Nice. I assume you guys get to play a lot together and kind of discuss amongst each other strategy and everything. That's got to be real nice, especially with good players.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can go ahead and say it. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no. I was just saying that it was like really helpful to have a team where everyone is like playing competitively, so they would always check on the meta, check on what deck they think are the best, check on what's new like in ladder, like sharing any opinions to try to get an edge in Hearthstone is really important, is especially in tournament mode where there's like strategies and stuff. Yeah, so I'm really happy to have a good team to support like the whole group.
Well, we're all really happy to have you here. So, yeah, Cinder, you guys want to ask him any questions here before we move on?
I know that we have a ton of questions for him later, so I'm gonna kind of save them up for the explanation segment.
Like opinion questions. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And you're gonna save yours too?
SeoHyun, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Malfurions or one Malfurion-sized duck?
I would take 100 Malfurion of duck size, right? Yeah, 100. Yes, basically, because I would rather fight smaller size than one big, huge creature, which is a duck.
Because he's tucking a Dragonfire potion. That's why he said that.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, I think it'd be pretty cathartic after the meta we've had. Just go around kicking little Malfurions.
Yeah.
Okay. No more questions at this time.
Okay.
I also wanted to add one more thing because some people actually know him as Eddie. That's your nickname, right?
So. Yeah, that's my name, real life name. Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna switch off on calling you Eddie and SeoHyun. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep going. We have a lot of news to cover, and I really want to hear your input on the tournament section and even our declamations. We're going to be going over tournament prep and execution with him, so I'm looking forward to that. So at this point, I usually mention that Concede is in a large part supported by you, the listener, those of you that are listening. So if you'd like to find out how you can support us and receive rewards in return, just head on over to patreon.com/CoinConcede. So let's talk about our ladder for a little bit. Have you been playing a little ladder recently, SeoHyun?
Yeah. I still, even though it's off meta right now, I still have to play the ladder to see what good decks are there. And I've hit Legend on Asia and North America server right now, but it's still not really good ranking. It's just 500, 600-ish. So yeah, not too impressive, but
still double Legends.
Beats my best.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you that perspective matters a lot.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah, and also it turns out being a professional Hearthstone player is difficult.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think it would be. I don't really consider myself competitive, but I consider myself competitive, but not a pro player. I can't imagine playing 20 hours a day of Hearthstone in my life.
Yeah, that'd be a bit much. I'd have to take a step away.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cinder, you want to tell us a little bit about your week?
I'm still floating around rank 7, mostly because I keep losing stars to quests, because I need to get that dirty free-to-play gold. But I just keep racing back up with Tom60229's Cruel Kazakus Warlock. I don't know why that deck wins. It just does. I looked up my stats for this month, and it's almost 65% with that deck. It is, for whatever reason, it just always has the right answers for me, and it's way too much fun.
That's the more important part.
Having fun is really important in Hearthstone, or else you'll get bored really fast. Also, I have the same feeling when I played that deck. It feels like you're cutting a lot of good cards just to run Kazakus and Cruel, because that's the difference between one copy of cards and two copies of cards in your deck. Which the deck which Pavel won was mostly two copies of everything. But I don't know, that deck just wins the games. I don't understand either, but you just win games.
It's magical.
Hey, what about you, Hat?
Well, you guys are talking about fun, which I am glad that I get to step in here. So I was asking my Twitter followers yesterday what should I play in this new meta. There's a bunch of really good options. Yagoot's Pirate Rogue or Aggro Pirate Rogue is really good. Cobalt Scalebane seems to be everywhere. There's Cobalt Scalebane Paladin, Cobalt Scalebane Shaman. But the deck that is doing the best for me currently, the one I'm going to push for Legend with because I'm hovering around rank 4, is Hemedictus Priest. And for those of you that don't know, that is where you have Raza, Kazakus, and Anduin, as usual, and your deck is all one-ofs. But also, you play Hemet so that you don't draw your low-cost reactive cards in the early game or in the mid-game, and you get to Anduin and Raza faster. But then you're going to fatigue, so you play Archmage Benedictus to put more cards back in your deck. And I thought this was a meme, but we saw Topo Pablo play it at the HAT Americas playoffs, and that was amazing. And then Tic Tac posted a list that he said was very good. Now, his list had an Eater of Secrets, and I took that out because I'm not seeing a lot of Mage. But I played it last night. The deck is legitimately good, and and almost every game I lost with Razakis was because Anduin and Raza were in bottom 10. So you just get all the other cards out the way, draw your combo pieces faster, and then you just get cards back. And yesterday I only won because against Elemental Mage, I runnered Blizzard after I'd gotten combo to kill him with Fatigue.
Jeez.
It's so much fun.
I know we're not on tournament section yet, but you mentioned Topo Pablo's match. He played Celtic Guard, who is actually one of the players I was really hopeful for in the playoffs. But watching Celtic Guard react to Benedictus being played is like watching a man staring into the madness of the abyss and his brain just not comprehending what he could see. I mean, it was hilarious and amazing. It should be watched if you have not seen this.
Yeah, and Topo Pablo, we'll talk about it later, but he played Archmage Benedictus after Raza before Anduin. He's like, I don't even need my hero power. I just want more cards in my deck. Just want a 7-mana 4/6. And you know what? He won that game. I don't know, man. So that's what I'm doing right now, and if they say that the fun is dead in Hearthstone, I say that you are wrong.
Agreed.
Nice. I haven't had much time to play. I finished building the headboard for my for my wife. But when I was playing Wild. I've been bouncing around 10, 9, 8 around there. And my claim to fame this week is I played against Jackie Chan on ladder and Wild and beat him. But I beat him with his Void deck. So I'm not
Still
really
counts.
considering that. Yeah. I think he was.
Still counts.
Yeah.
A win is a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you could give Jackie Chan like a starter Pokemon deck, and he would still get to Legend on the Hearthstone ladder somehow.
There you go. Yeah, that's true. So that was fun to kind of go back and actually watch because I was like, Jackie Chan. I was like, no, this isn't him. And then later in the game, I was thinking, well, we're in Wild. Maybe it is him. So afterwards, I went to go check, and he was playing Rogue on stream. I was like, no, maybe it's not. And then I went back afterwards, and I figured, well, when I saw him play Rogue, I was like, well, he is playing Wild, and he's like rank 9 right now. So, maybe it was him. So I was trying to figure it out the whole time or not.
Somebody found the VOD of it, didn't they?
I went back to find the VOD of it, and
Okay.
I threw it in the Discord.
Nice.
But it was fun to go back, and some people recognized me too in his chat. It was funny. So give them a shout out later. But yeah, that was the highlight of my week. Other than the coaching, I actually coached Cap Correlator. He was pretty good. We just goof around on Priest. He got to a rank 10, and he's like, I'm really not too concerned about wins. If we lose, I don't care. We're not losing to any ranks, so we just goofed around. What about you guys' coachings this week?
I still have most of mine scheduled for the end of the month, but TG Raider, I have not seen you. Please contact me. I want to teach you things and play ladder with you. So get back to me, please.
All right, Hat.
Well, I had fumbles right before the cast, and I got Starlax right after. I've got a bunch of coachings left. Just want to let everyone know, if you are listening to this, if you want a coaching and you have not been scheduled or contacted and you have paid for the month, and I sent you the form at the beginning of the month, contact me and I will help you. We'll get the schedule for you. If you haven't gotten a schedule already, everyone should be scheduled. And we have our assignments already in our internal tracker, but I want to make sure nobody gets missed by the end of the month. So if there's anything going on that you need our help with, let me know and I will help you.
Yeah, speak up. All right, so we had several pledges this week. We have Nyla M, Wassel P, Vasil. I'm sorry, I butchered your name. And Michael V. Actually, Michael V just pledged $25. He may be a new producer, so thank you all for your support of the show. It's very much appreciated, and we're just still flabbergasted at everyone that decides to make that jump. So, let's go ahead and jump right into the news. Guess what, guys? The patch went live.
Yay!
Yay!
SeoHyun, are you enjoying this change?
I personally think, yeah, because I don't play aggro, so
There you go.
I would say yes for sure. But people are just playing hunter instead, so I honestly don't know. It's probably gonna be back to another archetype of aggro.
All
Not
right.
So
not really a fan of it.
You just don't play aggro? You just don't do it?
I prefer not.
Yeah.
Like tournaments, I normally don't. I think the only aggro I started play it's Shaman because it's a really good anti-aggro deck. Because like it has like Portal, it has like a lot of tiny stuff. It has J-Claw, like a lot of cards to like beat the aggro decks that people are bringing, like Pirate Warrior and Murloc Paladin. Oh, I'm talking sort of like my tournament style, but yeah, that's like aggro Shaman is almost the only aggro deck I only play now.
Nice. Yeah, we don't want to get into too much tournament talk. We got plenty of time scheduled for that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're all happy about this. It's not news. We knew about the announcement. It's just now it's live. So yay. So some of the other things, I just throw these in no particular order here, but I did notice there was an IGN interview with Mike Donay and Dean Ayala. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check that out, but it was very interesting as far as the different Death Knights and what they were talking about. They showed some of the previous versions of what they were coming across.
That was where they showed like the concepts, like some of the original concepts for the Death Knights. Yeah. Some of those were just crazy, like pants on head crazy. What? Why would you ever put that into a game?
Yeah. It was nice to see. Well, they originally started kind of based off of Lord Jaraxxus, but they wanted to figure out a better way because you're only at like 15 health. It's for playing nothing that turn. It's kind of hard decision to play in that part of the game. So they wanted to add the extra armor to the Death Knights and decided to kind of go down that road. That's how that came about. But yeah, if you have it, I linked it in our chat. It's on our show notes. Go check out the different Death Knights and what the previous evolutions of them were. Very interesting to see. Any other comments? Did you get a chance to see it, Hat?
The IGN
Probably
article?
Yeah.
I breezed through it, and what I saw was fascinating, and I have it opening right now, and I'm honestly skimming it because it's so cool. But
yeah,
I'll focus back in the show now.
Okay. Alrighty. So also we had the pirate event in Hearthstone. Thank you, Blizzard, for the 100 gold. You guys have a favorite emote that you got from this event?
It was absolutely Warlock. Because look, I will make a startling admission. Right along there with not a fan of puns necessarily. I'm not really a big fan of pirates. Pirates as a concept just kind of annoy me, and it's one of the reasons I loathe playing Pirate Warrior, aside from just repeatedly drawing patches. So I was really happy to see Gul'dan say, "I don't get this pirate thing." Also, the reason I was playing Kazakus Cruel this week.
As soon as I heard someone do that against me in game, I immediately thought of you, Cinder.
Man.
I was like, that fits Cinder to a T.
Hey, Cinder.
Yo.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
Q.
No, see, you might think it's R, but his first love be the C.
That's actually kind of clever, and I will give you credit for that.
Yes.
I won't laugh,
but
I will acknowledge that it is funny.
You won't actively frown or groan, which means I have to try harder. And by the way, my favorite pirate emote is definitely Jaraxxus, because he says that. He says that specifically.
Okay, SeoHyun. Did you like playing Arthas at all during this?
I didn't really play much like the stuff and I don't really know about emoji. I'm sorry, so I don't have much to say for this topic.
A consummate professional. Do you auto squelch? I bet you're an auto squelch guy.
Almost.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to affect my plays. Just.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's a professional mindset, folks. While I'm over here trying to make Cinder groan with puns, SeoHyun is like, why are we talking about this?
True.
Yep.
Nah, it's more fun. I have more fun when my ranks go down and down.
Yes.
Like the number goes smaller, I'm more happy. Other
There you
than that,
go.
doesn't really matter.
There's the dopamine cycle in
Yeah.
full exhibit.
All right, so let me cover the next topic here. There was a Reddit post by one of Blizzard's graphic designers, and he got to talking about the kind of the I don't know how you call it, like the philosophy, I guess you would call it, of
There is a such thing as design philosophy, yes.
yeah, philosophy of the golden animations. So it was very interesting to see what he was saying and kind of what they focused on. Just a short little clip here that was talking about, like, usually spells and stuff that isn't on board very long will get kind of the quote unquote loudest type of animations, the ones that move quicker or fastest, or sharper colors and stuff. So and then the ones that are on board the longest, like the heroes, tend to not be as active, or can be held back a little bit. So very interesting to see his take and kind of sharing what the golden animations of cards would be. I thought it was interesting. I'm trying to add things here as I go through. Are you linking actively here?
I'm not, because I'm watching the soundboard.
There you go.
Must be hat.
I keep forgetting I'm on a Mac. I work on a PC at work. My copy doesn't work the same way. All right. Also, tell us a little bit about the disconnects. I assume you heard about this and maybe
heard, watched, was upset about, and I know SeoHyun's going to jump in on this. So during the Americas playoffs, there was a disconnect. Actually, specifically, Luker was playing against Nalgoiden, and his laptop froze, which caused technically that is a disconnect. And according to HCT rules, this is a regame. They have to replay the match. But if you were watching the match, it was very clear that Luker was in a winning position in that game. There was no way for Nalgoiden to assemble lethal off the top of his deck, and Luker had a board, and the board was stable. Like, he was at 20 health or so. Like, it was really obvious that he was winning. And they had to regame that, and he ended up losing the rematch, which is really unfortunate. And even though that is the rules, I think there was a lot of frustration in the community that this is supposedly a mature card game with a mature competitive environment, and there's still no way for the client to either have a tournament mode or have some way to save the game state turn by turns to prevent regames from happening. And one of the Team 5 folks came out publicly and said that they're aware of this. It was really embarrassing, and they're going to double down on their efforts to make better, like, network environments at the taverns and whatnot, which I think a lot of people rightly felt like this was kind of insufficient. Like, there really needs to be a verbal commitment from Team 5 to have a technical solution in the client, be it tournament mode, be it saving the game state or whatever, or having like a public tournament realm where people aren't playing on the regular server. Just something to avoid these kind of things from happening on the premier competitive events, much less open cups, etc. So we have the comments linked in there, but yeah, I kind of have to agree with the community at large. I think this is really frustrating to still see happening, and then Team 5 be kind of vague about solutions.
Yeah. To jump into it, I still feel like Blizzard, like, I'm really disappointed as a competitor that Blizzard still has not make a tournament mode for something like that, for like a card game to save turn by turn, which I know, like, a lot of games like League of Legends, even their own game Overwatch has a system like that for tournaments, and like card games are rather easier to do turn by turn mode, and they still have not like make something like that. And like this really unfortunate event is like, it's really disappointing to see. Honestly, in a big, like, that game was top 8, which the winners decide to go to the championship. It's huge. It's like the match is real. There's a lot of stacks on that game, and I'm like, and Luker is one of my best friend in Hearthstone, and I was like really disappointed to see how that series went off. Like, yeah.
I think that after this, Well, I mean, they've been aware about disconnects and everything, but I feel like after this, it's very apparent, and I feel like they've probably moved it up a couple notches on their list of importance, like things that they want to focus on, because I think this is kind of a big deal. I mean, even not in tournaments, if it can be frustrating for players to have that happen to them quite a bit, you know. Certain things can be avoided, but I mean, but mainly tournaments. I mean, obviously, if it's affecting your results, you know, it's not a good. It feels bad, man. There you go.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Hat.
even Frodan came out and said this is a major issue that needs change, and Frodan is known for being balanced, but generally shifting towards Blizzard size, and this kind of issue undermines the competitive integrity of Hearthstone as a professional game. If in football games, right, the goalpost just sometimes fell over, like the game would be taken less seriously. In baseball, if if the walls fell down inside the arena, it makes it so that the game can't even be played. And so if these sort of things happen in other professional sports, the game would be taken less seriously. And Hearthstone already has issues as a competitive sport. I think it's the better players win. I think it is appropriate to call it a competitive game where skill is rewarded and practice it matters and all that. But delegitimizing the game through external issues really makes it harder for people to engage with it as a medium and makes it harder to want to watch it. So
True.
this needs something, and SeoHyun is right. Like, this is a turn by turn game. Just save the game every time. I don't know the technical debt. I'm not a programmer. I'm a very, very far from a software developer. But the idea of a separate server and saving game states has been pitched many times, and at this point it needs to become a priority, unless you want to do something like add a tournament mode. You know, I wonder if actually one of our hosts has any opinions on tournament mode. What do you think, Kenny?
I think one of us do.
Yeah, but he may not be here to speak for himself, but luckily he wrote an article.
So yeah, he would happen to be Appa. So Appa did have a Hearthstone top decks article that he wrote about tournament mode and how he felt. It's more of an opinion piece. It's to kind of talk about or to try and get the talk moving with the community on what, you know, is this important? What do you think, kind of thing. So I'm gonna hit SeoHyun first here and say, how do you feel about tournament mode? Like, I don't know if you had a chance to see what his little article was about, but how do you feel about it?
Did not read the article yet, but I feel like they should have one. Like, just like just like what I mentioned before, something like how Overwatch did is like a save game state would like that, like it would help a lot. And so like, and it also prevents them from having regames, which is really frustrating. I had personally I had 2 regames during this summer playoff, and both of them were not in my venue but my opponent's venue, and it's really emotional when you are in a good state during the game and you have to regame because of external problem where you know your opponent didn't mean to, that they don't want to as well, but then because of like issue that Blizzard didn't fix, we both had to suffer from it. That's really unfortunate.
Cinder, I'm sure you read this. How do you think he did with the article?
I think he did perfectly well. I mean, it's something that we've talked about quite a lot in the past, and I mean, we're all on the same page. Like, Blizzard puts in quite a bit of resources into promoting Hearthstone as a competitive game. I mean, we see it with Championship Tour, with the global games, you know, with their whole environment, their whole culture of Hearthstone is making it a competitive game, even though it is, you know, predominantly a for fun game. So if they're going to invest this much into making it a competitive game, then why not have a client that facilitates that? I think it's just long overdue. And Appa, you know, laid out some great examples as to why, from his own personal experience as a professional.
Great. Anything else you want to add, Hat, before we move on?
I think Appa's a wonderful person.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a big old
Something.
Chipmunk,
sweetheart.
gazelle.
Uh, all right, so let's go over to the next part. SeoHyun, have you ever okay, I'm kind of tying this in here because Rat Race, I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's when
Oh yeah,
some
for
players-
sure.
Oh, okay, good. Have you ever done that with some of your friend players or even with your own team?
Oh, this is a funny story. I once had a race rate with someone. It's one of my friend, the flyest guy. Like he had another friend that wanted to make a gamble. It was like 20 USD gamble, and he wanted to do a one versus one with me. I don't know. Like I asked him about it, and he was like, "Oh, he just wanted to take free money from me." And so I was like, "Okay, then let's do it." And then I remember I think it was May, May, and then I got like rank 5 legend at the end. I finished on the third day, and then I queued into him 3 times, and I won all 3 in a row. And then like it was so funny because I finished on the third day, and he finished on the 20th. So it was like really funny experience because I went super try hard. I played like 350 games in 3 days.
Wow.
It was like
Good
insane.
Lord.
It was like insane.
You said today that you didn't want to play 20 hours of Hearthstone in a day.
I played around that because I really want to win because
Yeah.
he was pretty he sounds like I'm gonna lose for sure. That's why I went really try hard for that $20. Probably not worth the money, but worth beating him for it.
I admire your conviction.
So let me, for those of you that don't know what it is, let me explain it a little bit. So the Rat Race basically started as like a race between friends to see who would get to Legend first. But it blossomed into more of like a community-wide thing, and they wanted to see more professional players and personalities play against each other. So it became more of an esport thing, and now they've officially made it where there's a prize pool and yeah. So I actually linked the link in here in the show notes. It's for Esports Arena. They're all in the arena, right? They're gonna be there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a couple of different strata of a competition here. So they got some sponsors. They actually got some prize money, and I don't have it open. So I bet the pro players.
They have.
Who are the
they
pro
have the
players that are
actual-
participating?
There's Reina, Mizak, Chucky. Only are announced right now.
Okay, so they're going to announce some more. So the pro players are going to be competing for a separate prize pool. There's also a function where you can donate some money to an open prize pool and also can compete in the Rat Race for Legend. And if you get top 3, you will get a share of the pool from the prize pool. Or you can just play along, not betting any money, and just have fun and race along with the pros and everyone else. So it's actually a really cool thing that they did, where they turned this kind of like informal but popular thing into like a formal event. That's just its own thing. It's not a tournament. It's just a race trying to get to that big orange. At the end of the ladder. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the prize pool is $10,000 for the in-person prize for the arena. But then all the $10 entry fees for the online prize will go directly to the online prize pool, and then first place is for 50%, second's 30%, and third is 20%.
This is really cool. I mean, you think about some of the sports things that are popular on TV that are frequently watched, the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, these competitions that are unique and like one day or one event that are not a part of the traditional competitive infrastructure. And Hearthstone has 2 of these. It has Watchstone and the Rat Race. You've got an end of season and a beginning of season kind of event stream sort of thing, where Rat Race, the Rat will stream. He'll do multi-Twitch and throw together a bunch of them and just watch 10, 11, 12 streams at once and just keep track of people. And so creating this kind of vibe of being a part of the competitive atmosphere without competing for anything other than pride, and the Watchstone kind of color commentary sort of thing. It's all of this creates an infrastructure for a way to engage with Hearthstone's competitive environment without having to be at a tournament. So I like it a lot. I'm glad this is being legitimized.
Yeah, I like it. I may have to tune in. Maybe we'll see Hat on stream.
You will not. I'm rank 4 in the 20th. I'm not competing in the rat race.
Alrighty. So yeah, let's go over the next part here. I wanted to add this, and main reason I wanted to add this because I've been playing Wild a lot, and Naga Sea Witch has been a big part of the Wild set recently with the change. So I just linked it here in chat. Basically, Ben Brode wrote some comments on Naga Sea Witch and how they changed the wording on it. So something like your current cards cost 5 to your cards cost 5. So he was kind of comparing it to the other type Aura cards, and specifically how everything gets categorized or placed in order. So the interaction between Bright-Eyed Scout and Second-Rate Bruiser, specifically, so Bright-Eyed Scout's the 4-mana 3/4 Battlecry draw card, change its cost to 5. And then the Second-Rate Bruiser, like, let's say if that was drawn after the Bright-Eyed Scout, it wouldn't be 5 mana if there was 2 or more minions on the other side. So yeah, just talking about how the order of operations goes as far as the cards. And yeah, that's what got them to change the wording for it. They said he was mentioning if he feels it's too strong, which it really hasn't been proven to be. And even within my own games, playing Giant Druid, it hasn't been pre-nerf. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't overly oppressing. It felt bad losing against you on like turn 5. But yeah, so did you guys have a chance to check this out, and what do you think of the change, or does it really not matter to you?
Wild is your domain, sir.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Giant Hunter, Giant Druid, Giant Warlock too. I even saw something. I saw a Giant Rogue deck. So Naga Sea Witch has been a big part of it. So
I mean,
just wanted to go over that.
Wild is supposed to be the format where wild things happen, where you see crazy decks and crazy strategies, and this deck seems super fun. Win rate does not seem to be that far north of 50%. It's a fast format, and it gets Molten Giant to see play again. I understand that people are concerned with the change not being properly communicated, which I think is reasonable. The change itself doesn't particularly bother me. I do feel like it is more consistent with the rules. I just wish it had been explained better as to why a change was happening.
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to cover as far as his comments. I had learned this the hard way with I was playing an Aviana in my deck. Aviana, Cruel, or what's the combo? Coon,
yeah.
Yes. So I was playing that and I played Aviana, and then I played I wasn't paying attention to what order I was playing it in, but then I played Naga Sea Witch, and then I was like, wait a minute, all of these now I can't play because they now cost 5 instead of 1 mana. So I'm glad he went over the changes and how it affects and the order. So instead of learning it the hard way like I did, maybe hopefully it keeps other people who do want to play it from making the same mistakes I did. So yeah, that pretty much does it for the news. You guys want to add anything else? Any other news? No news? All right, let's kick it over to Cinder.
It's the grand
So yeah, I feel bad. You're about to start my auctioneer segment, and my dog is asleep in my lap. So I'm sorry, Pupper. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, she has wisely discovered that if she scratches on the door during the show recording, I'll let her in because I don't want the scratching on the mic, and then she gets to monopolize me for an hour. So yeah, good dog. So this past weekend, we had the America's Summer Playoffs. The top 64 point earners for the summer season, plus the Tavern Heroes, came together for the last weekend to determine the final 4 competitors for the Summer Championships next month. 7 rounds of Swiss played best of 5 conquest. They paired down to the top 8, where they played a single elimination bracket to produce the top 4 and ultimately the winner of the Summer Playoffs. Emerging at the top of the Swiss with a perfect 7-0 is Purple, or Purple Drank, as his BattleNet actually is. You may, if you've been around Hearthstone for a while, you may remember Purple because he actually was an America's champion from late 2015. He was quiet last year, but he has apparently come back awake from his long slumber. In Swiss, he was undefeated with Rizakis Priest and Control Warlock. Like the deck that gave him trouble was his mid-range Murloc Paladin, but he was absolutely perfect with the other 2 decks. And of course, Druid was just banned all the time, as Druid is wont to be. Following behind him in order, at number 2 through 8, Luker, Amnesiac, Ike, Empanizado, who we recently met through the Hearthstone Global Games as he played for the Mexican team. Yay Tears, who has actually been recently credited for being one of the people who brought about the hybrid hunter deck right now that runs the bottom pirate package with Corsairs and Patches plus the Bittertide Hydra. Orange, in fact, even credited him with the deck list that he's been using. And Nalgoiden from Argentina, he also played in the global games for the Argentinian team. And if you have not seen his name before, you are not paying attention to Latin America, because he is all over the Latin American scene. He is one of the best players in that region. And finally, in the 8th spot, we had D. Pacman, who is a Tavern Hero. This is the highest qualifying Tavern Hero since Snail made it through, I think, back all the way back to 2015. So it was really exciting to see a Tavern Hero making it through the Swiss portion. In the quarterfinals, the first match was Purple versus D. Pacman. Poor D. Pacman, he played Purple for the last round in round 7. They were both undefeated, so he should, if he lost the game, he had to go to tiebreakers possibly, but fortunately there weren't that many 6-1, so he was able to get in, but had to play Purple again to try to play into the championship. So he had a really difficult gatekeeper trying to get in, and he of course he lost. Purple had a perfect record. D. Pacman, lost my place. Hang on a second. So Purple ends up playing a nearly perfect set here against D. Pacman, and Purple was actually nice enough to give D. Pacman a lot of credit after the fact, saying, "Hey, you played really well. He's a great player. It was really exciting to see him." So it was a good match to watch, and watching D. Pacman sweat was uncomfortable. But congrats to Purple for making it through. He is the first player to make it to the championship round for summer. Second match in quarterfinals, Empanizado versus Ike. Ike opens winning with the Paladin Mirror, but Empanizado capitalizes on some very unfortunate draws from Ike's Pirate Warrior and from his Hunter to sweep the remainder of the series. Third match, now Gaiden versus Luker. In game 4 here, Luker he's down 1-2 versus Nalgoiden, and he's stabilized in a Warlock versus Pirate Warrior match. And the laptop that Luker had been provided for the event froze, and this forces the replay, as we talked about during the news segment. So instead of equalizing the series 2-2 and forcing a game 5, the replay ended up giving Nalgoiden the 3-1 win. And had that game 5 had been played, it would have been Luker on Rizakis Priest versus the Pirate Warrior, and that's a very winnable match. So a lot of people rightly believe that Luker kind of got robbed just from technical issues from making it through. And in the last match, Yay Tears versus Amnesiac. Yay Tears making a clean sweep to take the final spot as the U.S.'s sole representative among the Americas qualifiers for the Summer Championships. So we have Purple from Canada, Nalgoiden from Argentina, and Empanizado from Mexico. So this is really diverse and exciting lineup for the Summer Championships for the Americas region. Further on through the semifinals, Purple defeats Empanizado 3-1. He was well in command for most of the series. He only dropped the Paladin Mirror, won with the rest of the set. Now Gaiden versus Yay Tears. Both players had Hybrid Hunter in their lineups. In fact, this was more or less a mirror match as far as lineups go. Both played Pirate Warrior and Rizakis, and both banned the Druid. This came down to Rizakis versus Pirates, much as the Luca versus Now Gaiden set would have been without that replay. And in this iteration, Now Gaiden put out more damage with the Pirates than Rizakis had answers for, and that allows Now Gaiden to advance to the finals. So that gives us a finals of Purple versus Now Gaiden. Now Gaiden takes the first game with Rizakis against Purple's Paladin, but Purple takes advantage of some very bad openings, I guess you could say. Like, he chose to open with Pirates, of course, with the Pirate Warrior, but also with the Hunter. And Purple had double Galaka in quite a number of his lists, and he took full advantage of that and ended up just absolutely snowballing the board game after game. And so Purple takes the series 3-1, and that completes a perfect 10-0 run for Purple through the America's playoffs here. And he's going in as a second time America's champion into the championship next month. So very, very exciting.
Nice. That's got to be tough to. I mean, it just goes to prove that those that are good at the game are really good at the game. So.
Really good at the game.
Yeah.
When Purple was Tempo Storm's coach for a long time before he's just like, instead of helping these pros get better, I'll just be a pro. And then he promptly won a bunch of stuff.
SeoHyun, what do you want to say?
No, I agree. Purple is a really good player, and yeah, he was representing HGT for Canada, and we got like top 16. I think it was really good.
Yeah, indeed, and he's actually been a part of Gamers Origin, which is a predominantly French language esports group. And he's been a regular in their productions, regular on stream. So it's really great to see him come back to the Americas and be able to take a win. So I had a couple of things I wanted to pluck out. Of course, my one of my favorite classes, Hunter, coming back in. Hybrid Hunter was included in four different lineups. And both Nalgoiden and Yeteers had it in their lineup, and they took it to the top 4. So really excited to see Hybrid Hunter coming back. What do you guys think?
I definitely did not see Hunter coming, and I got punished for it because I got round 6. I was against Yeteers. I was 2-0 in the series, and then my Warlock got reverse sweep because I just couldn't get a win from his lineup. And it's actually really strong, the Hunter. Like, it's like playing Hydra on 5 almost like wins a game because your 1-4, like your turn 1-4 is really snowbally with Alley Cat, and you have Pirate Package, and then you have Animal Companion, like a lot of stuff. Like, the deck is actually way better than I thought. But I think people realize that the problem with this deck is that it's better against control than against aggro, because against Shaman or against Pirate Warrior, if they don't draw color, I don't think they would get an edge. But generally, because everyone's bringing Priest, and the deck does well against Priest, which I think it's one of the biggest reasons why they both top. Really good, really good pickup for them for bringing Hunter. I like. Me and my practice group never even thought about Hunter would be like somewhat decent.
And then commensurately, we had Control Mage, which had been a popular conquest pick in the past couple of events. Suddenly, just completely falls off the radar. What do you think contributed to that? To players choosing Control Mage much less than they did?
I think the deck is just not good because it literally has 0% against Priest, which is you can't bring it in Conquest literally. Because in Conquest mode, when you know your opponents bring Priest, it's better to bring decks that has somewhat a chance against Priest. But the Control Mage has no win condition against Priest, which makes the deck like if any somewhat decent player plays the Priest side, you would never get a win because you cannot kill them. And then they would just wait for their villain combo. They would wait for their Lyra combo. They would just like keep waiting, and you cannot do anything. Your Janna does not get any value. Like the Control Mage could be somewhat alright against aggro, but just the part where you never beat Priest means you can almost never bring the deck, and people realize that. after like tournaments.
Right on. And then there were some anti-Jade, anti-Priest lineups. A few people took Quest Rogue. A few people took Silence Priest and Exodia Mage, which I know you're a fan of, SeoHyun. Like these people took these in their lineups in hoping to actually. Some of them left up Jade Druid, but a lot of them were just trying to beat Priest outright. None of them made it through, but some of the lineups did fairly well. I think I saw some like 4-2 finishes from lineups featuring those decks. With the one exception of Monsanto's much hyped Jungle Giants, Quest Rogue, Exodia Mage lists, which I expected to crumple to aggro. That's exactly what happened. Like he just ran face first into Pirate Warrior, Murloc Paladin, and just lost. So it was interesting to see those. And then the last thing of note, which we talked about already, Hemet, Benedictus, Priests from Topo Pablo.
Yeah, buddy.
He's a mad genius, I think. I mean, I don't is it good? I everything in my body says no. This is not a good deck or not a good choice for that deck, but he was winning, so maybe
It's
Okay.
really good for the mirror matchup, which is the main reason you bring it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, so instead of playing Geist or Cabal Shadow Priest and Velen, you play Hemet and you play Benedictus. And what you gain for that is, instead of a one-turn kill, like you get with Velen, or a faster kill, you get a more likely chance to draw your combo pieces, which generates you more damage beforehand. If you get more damage with Velen, but they're in the bottom 5 of your deck, it's less damage than if you Hemet and get the Anduin faster. So it's just a different choice of late game tech that has the different effects that it gives you more opportunity to draw combo pieces. You actually keep Hemet in the opener in the Priest Mirror, I think.
Yeah, for
It's-
sure.
It's so powerful. I was watching Zalay on stream today, and he was playing the Razaka's Priest Mirror, and his opponent got Raza Anduin, and Zalay had Raza, and then kept top decking Doomsayer, Holy Smite, Potion of Madness, just all these cards that don't do anything. And his opponent, meanwhile, was just hitting him. So imagine if you just get to get rid of all those cards, because everything Priest plays that costs less than 4 is just drawing you cards anyways, or removing threats. So when you don't need those anymore, you just get rid of them. You stabilize the board, you guarantee your combo, you refill your deck, and you kill them with whatever that your opponent decided to give you.
I might
And
have to see this played.
it's super fun, and really,
Yeah.
it's... Remember when APAC was always the region you went to for the crazy decks, and now look at the Americas region. We got Hemedictus, we got Jungle Giants Druid, which was, a meme to be sure, but this is also, keep in mind, the new set came out August 10th. This is the last of the HCT tournaments. This is the one with the most information, and this is the most evolved the meta got to be before nerfs were made. It's the least safe because you don't need to be a safe anymore. You look at the ladder at the same time. Asmo hit rank 1 legend with Hunter. While this tournament was going on, I think Hunter was secretly good the whole time. It just needed some growth and practice and evolution. And the further and further we get from the date the set came out, the more evolved, refined, and interesting the lineups are going to be. The APAC tournament happened less than 30 days from the expansion being released. It's not going to be as interesting because there just isn't as much time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Cinder, anything upcoming?
Well, of course, there's the Rat Race that we just talked about, and that's going to be on October the 1st, since that's the first day of the season. And then Summer Championships in LA at the new esports arena. That's October 13th through the 15th.
Great. Let's take a moment and thank some of our reviews here. I know one of them is in our chat channel here. Hat, you want to cover his iTunes review?
Oh, do I? Let's take a look here. Come to learn. Stay for the atrocious puns. Well, I can do that. So, this is from Craptasm from USA. Thank you so much for the review. As a Dad Legend player with interest in the pro scene, I find this podcast pitch perfect. As Kenny keeps it all on the rails, Cinder, Appa, Hat, and Cora, when she can, give great insights and approach news in terms of what it means for the game, which all the hosts clearly love. Their spirit and enthusiasm are infectious, Cinder's tournament recaps are amazing, and to cap it all off, Hat's efforts at humor keep the show brimming with heartfelt groans. Definitely check this one out, it's worth your time. Thank you, Craptasm. I will attempt to make worse and worse puns to make sure you were satisfied.
All right, and we have a second one this week, and I'll say a little something afterwards. So I'm gonna have Cinder cover this one.
I wish I could give more stars by Toonwitch from the U.S. I never write reviews. I mean, never. But this podcast really earned one. I started listening to pass my workday, and now I look forward to every episode over some more well-known podcasts. I love how well they all work together, and they always have the best guests. That's right, like SeoHyun, he's the best. I want to keep it short, but words can't describe these guys anyways, and women. Don't forget Cora. So just give it a listen, and I know you'll stick around. Thanks for the amazing podcast and everything you guys do. Beyond that, sincerely, the last pair bender. I really hope Cinder's listening, or that won't make any sense. Yes, so this is from the newly renamed pair. She is one of our listeners, and she started streaming, and we all got behind her to help her get a boost. And she wrote us a review. So thanks so much for being a part of the show.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. That goes a long way for our new listeners. And we do get new listeners all the time. So I'm sure they go check out the most recent ones. So if you have a chance, go fill one out. I just want to acknowledge Steven Sensei. I know he left a review. You may hear on our podcast, if we read it in full, it may be well after you actually posted it. Number one, because we get notified weekly. So that's 1 week. And then when we mention it on the show and then post the show, that's like another half or full week. So it may be after a while that you actually hear your response. But yeah, Steven Sensei, we got it. I'm hoping it shows next week. If not, we still got it. So I'll put it in there. So yeah, now that you're done leaving a review for us, thank you for that. Let's go ahead and go over our Dexplanations. All right, Hat, take it away. I'm giving it to you.
Hi, everybody. All right. Sorry, I was changing the scene over. So, Dexplanations. Well, hey, everyone. We've got SeoHyun here. And SeoHyun, you may know him from many tournaments, but most likely you know him from DreamHack Montreal, where he was a total amazing player and made the finals. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
So, we asked you to be on the show today for a lot of reasons. One, we think you're a cool dude, but two, we want to talk to you about this because a lot of what we do in the show is try and relate tournament experience to people that maybe have less time or less experience or less exposure to that kind of environment. So, I've written some questions down here, and really feel free to take the dialogue in a little bit more of a free-form way. It doesn't have to go line by line, but we want you to tell us a little bit about this tournament and some ideas about how did you determine which lineup you wanted to bring, how did you come up with what you wanted to do before the tournament, and what was the context, what was going on for you going into this tournament?
Okay. First, that DreamHack Montreal is last year's standing tournament, which you have to. It's a best of 5, so you have to bring 4 decks. Your opponent's gonna ban one of them, and then you're gonna play 3 decks versus your opponent's 3 decks, and it's a closed deck list. So you do not know what archetype your opponent is playing. He might be playing Pirate. He might be playing Taunt, which is what I brought. And also, the tournament had around 120 people. I think it wasn't a lot, and it's a 9 Swiss rounds, which I qualified for with 6-3 record, which isn't that good, but I had like a really insane tiebreaker. So I think I ended at 12th in the Swiss round, and that's that's how the beginning of DreamHack. For my lineup, I brought J-Dread, everyone brings it. Highlander Priest, everyone brings it. It's one of the best deck. The last two is what everyone has different, right? Muzzy had Shaman plus Paladin. It was Aggro Shaman plus Merla Paladin. And then we have some Pipe Warriors. And I decided to go with Quest Mage plus Taunt Warrior. So at the beginning, right, before submitting deck list, I was thinking like everyone else. I was planning to bring Pi Warrior and Aggro Shaman. Aggro Shaman is really good because it's a anti-aggro deck, which you can beat Merla Paladin, you can beat Pi Warrior with it, and there's a weakness to it. It's really bad against Priest. It's almost around, I would say 30%, 35% normally against Priest, which is really bad. But you also have Pi Warrior. Pi Warrior is a really good deck to sweep people in Last Hero Standing, because normally a lineup, Pi Warrior gets at least 2 favorables, which is one, it's a Priest. Second, it could be Merla Paladin. It could be Warlock, which are your favorables to win the series. But then at the last day, I decided to change my lineup to Taunt and Questmates because one of my good friends, I think you guys should know him, is Tare. He qualified to, I think he was 1 game off to BlizzCon, but he made to Winter Championship, I think. And yeah, he just told me the lineup. He just said, maybe you should bring Questmage to target Priest, and then you bring Taunt Warrior because it's another anti-aggro deck, which has a better chance than Shaman to beat Priest. And then yeah, I just listened to him, and it really did me good for the tournament. For normally, there's in Last Hero Standing, you want to start with a deck which is normally good against everything, which I normally start with either Priest or Taunt, because I don't mind what lineup you're playing. Like, I don't mind if you're starting with Priest, I don't mind if you're starting with Shaman or Warlock. I think all has a certain percentage against them, so it won't be too bad. And then I would save my Quest Mage to for after you bring your Priest out, so I have like a really good chance to beat your Priest, which Priest is one of the best deck in the tournament. For Conquest, you want to bring a lineup where you either bring all the best decks, so you bring all the highest percentage decks. So it could be Pi Warrior, Merla Paladin, and then you bring the Jade Druid and Priest in the pre-nerf. And so you can see that there were some players like Ture for the summer playoff. He did Quest Mage, he did Quest Rogue, which is surprising, I think, for most people. He brought Jade Druid, and he brought Highlander Priest with sort of a tech to beat the mirror. So yeah, for Conquest, there's 2 ways to play it. You can either bring all the good decks you think, doesn't matter it's aggro, doesn't matter it's control, just good win rate, then you bring it, and then you just hope you get the right matchup. Or the second one is target deck, which Ture did, was targeting Priest, and then he bans your opponent one of the aggro decks they play, and then try to get all three decks to win the Priest, and does not matter the other games. So yeah.
If you don't mind me interjecting here, which 2 do you prefer? What do you like better?
I personally go with target. I like targeting.
You like banning?
Yeah. I like targeting my opponent certain decks instead of bring good decks, but you don't care about the archetypes. Like, you don't care about its aggro or control.
Do you see there's more variance in one than the other? Obviously, I would say the targeted one may be a little bit more different, because if you're just bringing the same good decks.
Yeah, so back in the days, there were certain times where when Reno was still here, Reno Jackson, some people bring double Reno, and then they bring control. They bring I think it was Reno Mage, Reno Warlock, and then they still bring Pi Warrior, which is a mix, right? So you don't go full control and then try to target other people's deck. You just bring highest win rate decks. There was certain metas that it was the best, but I see people like I think I saw some people still bring the best deck, so maybe they bring Pi Warrior, and then they also bring like Control Warlock, which Control Warlock is an anti-aggro deck, right? But Pi Warrior is a aggro deck which try to target Priest and Warlock. So it's basically where you try to, in Conquest, because there's technically queue order doesn't matter, where in statistically, no matter which deck you start to play first, it doesn't matter. But you might queue into the favorables. For example, you bring Pi Warrior and Warlock, but you still might be able to get the Pirate into Priest matchup, which is what you wanted. and then that's what some people did. And if you get those matchup, you have a higher percentage to win the whole series, like the whole set. So yeah, personally I don't like it because it's more risky, and I like playing control decks to target the aggro decks, which I believe most people would bring in the field, which I think I did okay. I got like I went 4-3 and 17th place, which wasn't too good, but I was 4-1 at one point, which I believe my lineup was good, but I kind of low rolled some of the games. Yeah.
Cinder, did you want to ask him any questions maybe listeners might want to know?
So like I am also a control player. I will default to control in any tournament setting. It with this particular meta, pinning down like the best control decks has definitely been challenging. And Taunt Warrior was like a big unknown, I think, going in to the KFT meta. So what did you see in Taunt Warrior that caused you to bring it over other control decks at Montreal?
First, I think people underestimate Taunt Warrior just because how strong Power Warrior is in ladder and tournament setting. Ladder and also tournaments. But when I study the Europeans tournament, Amy KS got second with Taunt Warrior, and there was also another player called Nestle who got top 8 with Taunt Warrior as well. And I realized that it's actually really good because in the field, there's lots of Merle Paladins and Shaman, which Taunt Warrior has a decent win rate. Maybe Merle Paladin, I don't think it's decent win rate, but they have an okay win rate against Merle Paladin, and they have a really good win rate against Shaman, which is, I believe, most people would bring. That's why I feel like Taunt Warrior is really good. It also has most people, like most pro, thinks it's unfavored versus Priest just because how Priest is like when they have the combo. But when I did my practice, I feel like when they don't have the Raza on 5 and DK on 8, a Pi Warrior can finish their quest and out tempo them, like to force their removals early and win the game with your reg shots. So that was my understanding of the decks going into it. Also, a huge factor is because it is a closed decklist tournament in DreamHack. So when I have Warrior, you would believe I'm not Taunt, but rather Pirate. So it might affect how you mulligan, which is a huge factor. It's like when you're playing ladder, you don't know if it's aggro druid or if it's Jade druid. You might mulligan differently when you're playing priest. That's
I like that.
Yeah, it's really relevant, I think. Yeah, that was good. Like, that was another idea in my mind. That's why Taunt Warrior, it's pretty good.
I think that's also why what's his name got such a big reaction out of playing the Benedictus Hemet priest.
Yeah,
Celtic Guard.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Celtic Guard. Like you could just see his fragile sanity slipping away with that match. So here's another question for you: How much practice goes into a tournament? Like how many hours? How early do you start practicing? Like how many practice partners do you have? Give us an idea of how much prep work you do.
Prep work. I think I had a lot of practice partners helping me. Cherry was one of the biggest for giving me a lineup. But I also like practice with Luker, Monsanto. I practiced with Sidonia, and then I had some of my teammates, Muzi, Caravaggio. They all helped me like try to practice, see how the matchup goes, like what deck should I queue first against certain lineups. So because I queue differently, like I don't always start with Taunt Warrior in last year's standing. I might start with Priest. There was 1 or 2 games I started with Mage against a quad aggro lineup, which is no priest, and then they bring all 4 aggro decks. So yeah, it all depends on like how you understand the game and how you think of it. For example, the reason I queue Mage first against full aggro is that I want to see what aggro they queue first, so that I can choose whether I want the priest or the Taunt Warrior. Because Quest Mage is a really hard deck to win against aggro in general. But I was lucky. I beat like 2 Pirate Warriors. It's like a really like really bad matchup, but I just high rolled and then beat two of them. So made my series way easier. But in general, I like to queue mage when it's less likely to get a win, or when you don't care if you really need to target the priest. But yeah, I spent a lot of hours. I think I didn't play much ladder when I practiced tournament because back then I believe most of you know how many Jaders on the ladder, and it got so frustrating. I cannot play ladder because I play 10 games. There's 8 Jaders. I basically like queue into Jade. I just concede because there's no point. I just ban Jader every time in a tournament mode. Like you cannot leave Jader back then when Innervate was a nerf, when Plague was a nerf. It's just like you just waste your time playing against them. Even if you high roll them, it's not worth it.
Yeah, that's
so. Yeah.
We've said before that like playing on ladder is really bad practice for tournaments for exactly those kind of reasons.
Yeah, so I believe I practiced maybe at least 40 hours the week before going to DreamHack because I submitted the deck list and I had like 4 days. And then even when I arrived to airport, I was playing Hearthstone, doing some sets with people. And then when before I go to bed, I wanted to like do a set or something. And then just make your mind refresh and keep remembering yourself, your like what you're targeting, what's your mulligan, how to play the matchup, like a lot of tiny things, just to like make sure I'm on part of what I want to accomplish.
Wow.
Yeah, your turn.
I'm just soaking it all in right now. This is amazing to listen kind of this insight. So you mentioned it a little bit earlier, SeoHyun. If clearly you were banning Jade Druid, what specifics of the deck list kind of came about through your testing? And what insights did you determine through testing? I know you had mentioned Taunt Warrior beating Priest, and I ran into a Taunt Warrior on the ladder the other day, and he got his upgraded hero power, and I didn't get mine, and yeah, it felt pretty bad. So what other insights did you determine through testing that maybe weren't as obvious, that maybe you were able to use to your advantage in the tournament, and how did it help you influence your deck list as well?
I would say I'm still not sure about it, but I would say that Acolyte in Quest Mage is one of the things that I think it's only my list has it, and most pros doesn't have it. And I heard a lot of feedback. They think it's really bad because how many cycle you already have. They run Novice instead, and they think that the 3 mana pool is really full. You have secrets, you have AI, arcane intellect, you have the 3 mana 2/2, the Murloc. I forgot Coalight Oracle. Sorry. Yeah, you have a lot of cycles already, so you don't need more. But I have like my understanding is that you never not want more cycles, just because you really want your combo. But in my DreamHack list, I don't run a lot of RNG mage spell. I only run double tome, double glyph, and then one of the 2/6, which gets you a mirror image. So there's only 9 random generated spell if you're not on the coin. So if you're going first, you have to draw 6 out of the 9. You have to play 6 out of the 9 random generated spell. So yeah, but I still like Acolyte more because first it's slightly better versus aggro because you can just play on tempo, like tempo 3. They might have to use resources to trade, or you sometimes like on the game on stream you saw me draw 2 cards from it, which is insane. You don't have to even ping yourself and you get 2 draws. It's like a Coalight without giving your opponent 2 cards. So yeah, there's some decision. There was also I think a weird tech in my Taunt Warrior, which was running the Forge of Soul, I think it was called. So you get 2 weapons from your deck. So first, it helps dilute your deck. So it takes out 2 weapons from your deck. So you have a better chance to draw taunts. And second, it's better versus aggro because you really, really, really want a weapon versus aggro. Weapon is one of the main reasons why you're sort of favor versus aggro because you can do the 2-for-1 trade. So you can play the weapon. The 2-mana War Axe is just insane. You kill 2 minions with it. You basically use your health and 2 mana to trade with approximately 4 to 5 mana of your opponent's minions. So you have a net gain of 2 to 3 mana just because you have a War Axe. That's how I understand the game. So yeah, like these small tech choices helps a lot. Also, I have Lich King in my top warrior, which helps if you mulligan the quest against aggro. Because you can see from some games, Murloc Paladin was just grind you also of resources with Bomare, with Tyrion, with Curators, with with different minions. They just might grind you out of resources, and having Lich King helps a lot because the body is insane. It's 8 mana, 8/8 with a chance to get a card. Like almost all of the cards are really good, and some of them are just really situational, which helps you a lot in certain situations. So I think these are a couple of my tech cards. I think other than my my priest was pretty just standard. It had Elise, but like it wasn't anything special. I think, yeah, that was the main two decks. I think it was the Quest Mage and Taunt Warrior. Yeah.
Let me jump in here for a second because you were talking about what we may have seen on stream. Is there anything off stream or any memorable moments that there were for you in the tournament, or do you tend to get nervous? Do you remember that, or
yeah, for sure. The nervous game was the top 8 versus Walla the Quest Mage game where I miscount my mana. I even made a Twitter post about it that talked about. I told myself all I need to do is to not play super horribly. Like I would always win the game because I was super ahead. I had double block. I had Nova. I had like anything you want to win the game. And somehow I get really nervous on stream. So that's kind of my problem. I need to fix maybe. Yeah, I probably need to fix. And yeah, other than that game, which I was really, really, really sad, I went to I went to the toilet and I almost want to cry because I played super bad. It wasn't my worst game ever. But yeah, other than that, I think there was some of the game against Sidonia was one of the most interesting games. So basically I was in fatigue. I was priest against shaman, and I was the priest. Sidonia was a shaman, and then he grabbed me out of resources because my Raza was bottom 2. My DK was the bottom card in my deck. It was super unfortunate game.
Wow.
And then I had a Burglar Bully on board. It's a 4/6, like full HP. He had 1 HP left, and then he top deck Thrall to gain his 5 more armors. He had a 6 mana 5/5 taunt on board, and then he played the Thrall. I had 0 cards in my hand, so he played Thrall. He got a charged Devilsaur or Dinosaur. I forgot the name. It's a 8 mana 7/7, gets a charge, and then he killed my Burglar Bully, and I conceded. Yeah, it was so sad. I couldn't recover after that. It was the first game, and then I lost 3-2 to him in round 7, I think. But yeah, it was really sad loss. Like I thought I had the game for sure, and he top decked Thrall into getting a charge, killing my Burglar Bully. He was 1 HP left. So I was like, oh, yeah, that was
so close.
Really sad.
Not like this.
I would just like to point out that for those of you listening, like I'm sure you can relate to being nervous or to just wanting to go and just hole yourself up in the bathroom. SeoHyun is just like everybody else. He's really good, but he's just like everybody else. So it's nice and relatable. I like that you mentioned that. I appreciate it.
Well, and
thanks for sharing.
Hearthstone's such a hard game is that there's no one that plays it perfectly. Even people that play at a very high level, it's incredibly difficult to play perfectly. Though also at this point, I wonder if Walla Oompa has a Jedi mind trick to make people play badly against him on stream.
Oh no, that game, that priest mirror.
Yeah. It's
so twisted.
You were not anywhere near that level.
No, that's funny because it's a funny story that before playing my game, I was with some of the other players that went to DreamHack Montreal, and then we were watching the game together before my game. I was like, oh, this. Like, how did he misplay like 20 times or something? Like, he played so bad, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to play that bad. And then the Mage game happened, and I was like, oh my god. Like it was like, yeah.
But still, it's not it's not like that.
Yeah.
I think what had happened was that Topo Pablo had come from the future and shown him Benedictus and him at Jungle Hunter, and like Coach Twisted just lost his mind
Yeah.
playing Priest, because I mean, what else do you do?
Well, there's no way to really explain the kind of pressure you get from being on the stream and on the live stage, and especially with cameras just trained on you from every angle you're looking at. That's a hard environment to find yourself in, to concentrate the same way. You know, there's everything going on in front of you.
And the lights, like if you ever see players on stream kind of cup their hands over their eyes, that's not like a regular nervous tick that competitive players have. They're trying to block out the multiple Nova suns of spotlights that are on you when you're on camera. Like it's really hard to concentrate when lights are shining in your eyes like that.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like most people are really nervous if they're newcomers. Like I would consider me one of them, because I don't really get a lot of time stream even when I play. I think I got one time stream on Spring against Muzzy. I lost 3-0 in round 3. But yeah, like I feel like for newcomers like us, like it's kind of deficit playing against like Muzzy or like the Rat or like Zale, like any pro players which are like they're used to being on stream. They're used to like being the spotlight of everyone. Yeah, so it's a good experience that we like most of us have to learn to overcome.
All right, who wants to wrap this up?
I will say one last thing. If you did not watch DreamHack Montreal, go back and watch the finals with SeoHyun and Muzzy, because SeoHyun that was the most impressive Quest Mage play that I have seen, and I watched a lot of tournaments. So it is definitely worth going back and watching that and kind of keeping his commentary in mind to kind of get a glimpse into the mind of a competitive player. It's very valuable.
Tat, you want to say anything else or any other last questions?
Thank you so much for coming on. The only thing I want to ask, the last question I'll have for you, is if you were doing this tournament again, would you change anything at all?
Change? If I want to change, probably there's nothing much to change, but maybe my priest list could be more optimal. I forgot my list, but when I was playing it, I didn't really like it because I went to fatigue like 3 games. Like my Kazakhstan Priest had the highest win rate for my in the tournament, and like I had like 5 losses in total, and 3 of them went to fatigue. Was so sad. Like I don't know. Probably maybe I should have less cycle or something. No, I forgot what I could change, but it's just that I think I don't have enough spells to do the end game, and I don't run the 30 damage combo. There's a list where you run the Mukla, so you have 2 bananas, so you can do 30 combo more easily, or you have the Mind Blast, and I don't have either one of them. So in the Priest Mirror, like it's harder to win because if you don't have the 30 damage combo, you have to like you have to play around your opponent heal, and like you have to do more reactive stuff. So yeah, my list was not optimal. I think there could be better ones. It's just that the priest was just so good. So even when you don't, like, when your list is not optimal, you still have like the highest win rate normally.
Well done. Good job.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This was super educational for us here in the booth for sure.
Same.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. All right, so let's kind of wrap this up. We have a couple of other things we want to mention here. I'll do the thank you this week. So if you want to send anything to us, send it to our email. It's coinconcede@gmail.com. I want to say thanks to Stefan L for letting us use his cover. Check him out on his channel, which is linked on our show notes. You can find us our show notes at coinconcede.com. Cinder wants to give thanks to Old Guardian for his tournament statistics. He's really good with that. His blog is linked on our show notes as well. You can find us on Twitter at CoinConcede. Contact us at coinconcede@gmail.com. I already mentioned that, but our Facebook is facebook.com/CoinConcede. And You have discord.coinconcede.com and some of our gear. You can find it at shop.coinconcede.com. Hat, why don't you say thanks to our producers here? I want to look up something here real quick.
You mean Viriatus, Psych Mopco, and Reganus Prime? Don't mind if I do. Thanks, guys. And we have a new one? And Calum. Calum CV.
You almost did it again.
I was saving him for the end just to make sure that you all remembered. Because we almost forgot him last week. So I'm glad that you guys stepped up your game.
What's this Wii stuff?
All right. Hold on. I'm pulling up some... I didn't actually mention this, but let me pull up some information. I have tickets to give away.
What?
Yes.
We're doing a giveaway?
Yes. I got to find it. Why is it not pulling up here, though?
I came ill-prepared.
Yeah, I didn't put this in the show notes. This is kind of off the cuff here.
Okay.
Let me log in here. So through our Facebook page, we have another Facebook group that we've been linked with, and Robert Miskell is the guy who moderates it. It's the Inn Hearthstone, and he said that he has for our listeners. We have 5 tickets for Coin Concede to go ahead and raffle off. So if you
wait, tickets to what?
Okay, yeah. Hold on, let me get to this.
Okay.
Okay. So in this, I think it's DreamHack. I'm trying to figure Denver. Yeah, Denver, October 20th through the 22nd. So if you
wait, hang on, let me clarify. Is this general admission or is this BYOC?
Okay, let me. I'm going to basically
BYOC.
just read this. So 5 tickets for you guys. He said if you really want to, there's really not much more to go over, but he wanted to give them out. Sorry, this is bad air. I know. How about it? You can edit this. So it's going to give away 5 tickets on our next episode. We did want to talk a little bit about that tournament. I didn't have enough time to pull that up here, obviously. But basically, you want to let us know if you're going to be attending. It's not going to cover any of we're not going to fly you out there. We're not going to give you a hotel or anything like that. But it'll be a free ticket for you guys to go. And this would include. Oh, let me pull up the email here. It says better in the email. There we go. DreamHack details. Of course, everything is so slow.
I'm so glad I edit this later.
Yes. All right. So I have 5 DreamHack Denver tickets to give away for us. The only thing. So I already gave you the dates where it's at. It is a little bit time sensitive. You want to find. So the tickets are 3-day. Bring your own computer passes. So that you get a table, a seat, and a LAN hookup. Obviously, travel, lodging, food would need to be handled by you, the person that's going. But the tickets are free. So we can do that. I have a link I'm going to add here in the show notes and probably on our Twitch here too. It's for DreamHack Denver. And then it's the Grand Prix for that as well. But if you join the Inn Hearthstone group on Facebook, they'll have an additional 6 chances to win a ticket. So 3 are from a general raffle, and another 3 are from the tournament prize pool. And I'll link that in the show notes as well. It's facebook.com/groups/the-in-HS. So thank you so much for letting us raffle those off. Contact us by email, and I will give you a direct link on how to kind of get involved with that. So if you're interested, or if you're already planning on going, but you don't have those type of tickets, then let me know. Send it to our gmail.com. Yeah, enough of me just stumbling over this. I just came up with the last minute. I should have done this when I actually got the email. All right. I want to cover shout outs. First, our guest, Thank you so much for coming on. We do appreciate it. Did you want to give a shout out to, let's say, any professional teams or teammates or anything that you want to shout out to this week?
I want to shout out for Kyoto, I guess. So, a really nice team to let me join when I was just nobody. Like I just won some of their tournament. It's a Open Cup stuff, and then they just signed me, but because they think I was good, but I had no reputation in the community, and yeah, and then I keep growing, and this is where I am. But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I would someday be in the championship. Just keep improving. But yeah, special shout out to Kyoto, and also I want to shout out to Tare. I always mention him because he's kind of like a big brother to me. He always helped me in lineup preparation, and like when I have like some emotional stuff happening in real life, sometimes I'll just tell him and he'll like talk with me about it. Like really nice guy. It's so funny that we become friends because I lost to him in spring prelims when I was 2-1, and then yeah, like because we have to add each other to play, and we were at the same venue. And after I lost to him, I like once he was ranked 5 or something. And then I asked, can I spectate him? He was going for a rank 1 legend, and then he said yes. And then we keep talking, like changing ideas with how we play Quest Rogue, how we play Quest Mage, because we both our players are more control oriented, so we don't love to play Pirate Warriors like aggro decks and stuff. So it was really easy to get along. But yeah, super sorry for him because I don't think I would ever be that like improving that fast without him.
That's nice. I'm sure you talked to him about like how to improve and stuff after you played with him too. Alpaton he did that with some people he played against.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hit it off.
You try to ask them like, what do you think I have any misplays? How could I play better, right? Because at the end of the day, you know you want to keep getting better, and you know that one day you will outrun the variants in Hearthstone. That's how Muzzy and Zale are always so good. Regardless how people say, oh, Hearthstone is just RNG, it's blah, blah, blah. But you can see how consistency matters so much that they actually perform like every time people judge this game is like RNG, like some random guy can win. But no, even the random guy, even the guy like me, I like playing with good people. I practice a lot to get somewhat a chance to prove myself on the stage.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go over our shout outs here. I'm going to cover Appa because he's not here, but he did want to give a shout out to Evident for giving him a platform basically to write and get on a separate soapbox from being on the podcast. But also to thank those that are following him and stick with him, close to him for his ups and downs, basically whatever he's going through at that time and sticking with him. He just wanted to say he appreciates all of you so much and that you take time to listen to all of us goofs talk about the game. He wants me to call you all big old sweethearts. So.
Oh, I bet.
I admit to being a goof.
All right. And Cinder, what about you? What's your shout out?
Shout out to everyone who donated or expressed some form of support for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We did the fundraising walk this past weekend, and we doubled the amount of donations that we got from last year's walk, which is amazing and also super important because this broke state that I live in has literally $0 for mental health counseling. So it is literally only funded by donations. So every dollar went to helping train someone in crisis counseling, or to have somebody manning that phone at the worst hour, or to counseling for survivors of suicide. So very important work, and I'm so glad that I had members of this community helping me out. It means so much to me.
Nice. I'm glad that it doubled from last year. I remember,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I remember last year. All right, so I'm going to do my shout out here real quick. I wanted to shout out to Bacon for watching me play a winner ladder game and getting Golden Nosdormu off of it.
Nice.
Attack win.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then for Benny Big Rolls for trying to get Jackie Chan to coin Concede on stream against
nice.
me. So just big shout out to both of those guys. I like them. All right, Pat.
So bacon is a person. It's if we were shouting out the food, I would do that every week.
Yeah.
But I'd like to shout out. So I mentioned last week the Dark Souls to calm down metaphor. I mentioned Rastian, but Dr. John also was talking about it. And then I also want to shout out Metal Dan. I saw that we're actually going to shout him out as a show, but I'll just segue right into that now. Dan from Hearth Coach needs our community help. He was living in an area that was badly affected by the flood and lost a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Almost all of his possessions. So any
Furniture,
community
like
help.
everything.
Yeah. Any community help that we can provide him. We're going to post the link here in the Twitch chat. Anything that we can do for him, I contribute a little bit. He needs our support. So just wanted to make sure that he knows that we're thinking of him.
Yes, big shout out to him. And yeah, if you want to do something nice and help out the community, we love our fellow podcasters. Go help him out. He's not even asking for very much, and I'm sure he'll hit his goal, but he's just asking for the minimal. If you can surpass that, or if all of us can, that would be much appreciated. I think we can blow him away.
Yeah.
So.
And I can relate to this as having been a former Katrina evacuee. You end up burning through a lot of savings when you're out of your home, because you have to have lodging, you have to have food, you can't like go buy groceries and save money that way. There's a ton of travel expenses from gasoline. Like, it's not just possessions, man. It is a lot of time and stress and fatigue, and it's very taxing. So please go help Dan if you can.
Very much so. So let's take off the end of the show here. SeoHyun, you want to tell people where they can find you? How can they contact you?
Oh yeah. You can follow me on Twitter, which is Kyoto SeoHyun 628, or you can follow me on Twitch, which is SeoHyun 628/Hearthstone. And yeah.
Did you want to spell that? I'm sure I wouldn't be able to spell it, so
okay.
Spell it out for people.
SeoHyun and 628, and I'll type in the chat as well.
You said the Twitch was a little bit different. I thought you said it was Kyoto.
So yeah, the Twitter's Kyoto, and then the Twitch does not have the Kyoto in front of it.
Oh yeah, it's just twitch.tv /SeoHyun 628. It's an underline / Hearthstone.
_HS.
Yeah, _HS.
There you go. Alrighty. So I'll pop in here. Cora, you can find her obviously on Twitter at songbird_HS and on Twitch at songbird_Cora. Hat, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at RidiculousHat. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RidiculousHat. You can find me on Discord at RidiculousHat. You can find me on the client, it's actually rhat. But you can find me pretty much anywhere where you can type Ridiculous Hat.
And I'm sure if you see him in person, he might wear his ridiculous hat too.
I have many of them, but typically the hats I wear are more palatable for everyday use, because otherwise the ridiculous ones would cease being ridiculous, and we just can't have that, Kenny. We can't have that.
All right, let me shout out Appa here real quick, or tell you where you can find him. He's at Appa_HS, and then same thing on Twitch, but without the underscore, just HS. And Cinder, where can people find you?
Yeah, that man is literally my favorite oversized upright chipmunk. He's the best. My Twitter is at Cinder Ascendant, and so is my Twitch. So hit me a follow.
And me, you can find me at KCCO_gamer. I'm the same thing on Twitch, but you can contact me on Discord or Twitter. You'll see me there, or send an email so you can contact me there as well. All right, can we do this ending? Let's try it.
Yeah.
SeoHyun, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I just want to end it by saying keep calm and chive on. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Concede.
Coin concede.
Coin
Coin
concede.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know which one was mine.
Take cold comfort in your victory. You win. I can rest now. You live. For now. Now, your victory proves nothing.
The day is yours.
I choose death. You have triumphed. This time,
等等啊，
SeoHyun.
哦好啊，哦好啊。